to me you retired. That was retirement. Do you think you retired?
Well, now that you say it, perhaps, but I never actually thought about it that way, because like I was saying, retirement is that word that scares you.
Yeah.
Because retirement actually almost, it's like a death knell, yeah? You're no longer useful. You know, when you begin to see those adverts of the age, you know, they're even defining the age that you should apply.
Yeah.
So I had never actually thought about it that way until we had that conversation. And thinking about retirement being doing what you enjoy doing, I think that's very liberating.
Welcome back. We were just having a conversation. We're just about to start a conversation around retirement. And that's where we're going to start here. So, Catherine, we left it at you were just tired of a normal, ordinary life in a very prime job at Deloitte. And you began your journey for retirement. 3 months somewhere, taking a break, not wanting to do anything, just thinking. Let's start from there. So what were you doing for 3 months, and what were some of the decisions you made during those very important 3 months of your life?
The interesting thing is I didn't get to 3 months.
Yes.
But part of what I wanted to figure out is, what do I want to do? I knew what I wanted to do, which is deal with people. But I just felt the space I was dealing with them wasn't the right space. So the first thing, let's just say, when I woke up the day after I had now served my notice and I'm home, the immediate emotion was panic. Because I thought, oh my God, I have 24 hours ahead of me. I have no clue what to do with them.
You had brought change to your house.
I know. and I don't think I'd thought far enough. I just needed to be away from these things that I wasn't enjoying. But the first few weeks was really just detoxing. That's what I call it. Not thinking about work, just catching up on things that I hadn't been able to do because of the workspace, picking my children from school, going for coffee. Then I got a call on week 2 from somebody you'd know very well, Sam Watene.
Yes.
Because he had known that I'm leaving for a very long time.
Yeah.
So jokingly,
The signs were there.
The signs were there, but I had never quite actioned because, of course, of the fear. You think of all these things was going to happen. And I was known as Catherine of Deloitte. So now it would be Catherine of what?
Yes.
You know?
So branding.
It's a branding thing, exactly, yeah. So Sam said, when you quit, you tell me. So even when I told him that I had quit, he didn't believe. I actually had to take a shot of my letter and send it to him. So 2 weeks down the line, and this is where the Centum connection comes, he calls me. He says, we've got something here. Do you think this would interest you? And I said, great. Generally, I like things that provoke my thinking, something that I'll figure out from scratch. So putting a proposal together, figuring out this Centum thing was exciting. So I didn't do 3 months.
That's when you were starting the Centum graduate training program.
Exactly. That's
the famous one.
The famous one, and doing the strategy and the restructure. So for me, that was excellent, because then it meant my brain is being stretched in a different space. So I actually didn't do 3 months. In two weeks, we got the proposal together, and the rest of the story, because it became a full-time job. Interestingly, also around the time, a Dutch gentleman I had met at a conference, and we exchanged cards. Calls me just from the blues. He didn't even know I had quit, and he says, I would like for us to do this, and I put your name in it. Would that be of interest? So the terrain was beginning to look interesting.
People are filling in your 24 hours.
I know. And now I was getting to pick and choose what I want to do.
Beautiful place to be.
Excellent. I mean, I couldn't trade that for anything. So it can be scary, because when you're used to a paycheck that you can plan with precision, it can be quite scary. And I must say, I had to learn now. So how do you manage your finances? Because you have a windfall, and then you've got a dry spell. So when you get this check, you've got to know this could be the only check you have for like 6 months. So please space out your money. So for me now, the space again started being exciting because then I can do things that I enjoy doing in spaces that I enjoy doing. And I mean, for Centum, it was completely exciting because it was...
It's never a dull moment.
Yeah, it was blue. I mean, completely virgin lad, you know, just do whatever it is that you want to do. So that now begins to put your whatever you've learned, your experiences into place. Then around the same time also with this gentleman, we got a huge training contract with Safaricom. So my 24 hours were well taken care of at my pace and doing what I enjoyed doing, and that can be addictive.
Wow. And which brings me to, we need to define this retirement. We need to redefine retirement because, as I told you during our own conversation, our definition of retirement is when you get to do what you love to do every single day of the year. So here is Catherine, who was sitting on a very, very prime job. The role model of many HR professionals of that time, even today. And you think, I've reached the end of excitement of this job. I need something new. And here you are in a very unpredictable environment, no regular paycheck. And then you have all these interesting assignments and you feel you are doing what you love to do. To me, you're retired. That was retirement. Do you think you're retired?
Well, now that you say it, perhaps, but I never actually thought about it that way, because like I was saying, retirement is that word that scares you.
Yeah.
Because retirement actually almost, it's like a death knell, yeah? You're no longer useful. You know, when you begin to see those adverts of the age, you know, they're even defining the age that you should apply.
Yeah.
So I had never actually thought about it that way until we had that conversation. And thinking about retirement being doing what you enjoy doing, I think that's very liberating.
It's extremely liberating.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you my own personal experience. My wife, I remember when she was carrying our third born, she was working somewhere and she came home one day and she said, you know what, I think I can add more value taking care of these children than what I'm doing at work. It's boring, it's not exciting me. So she retired very early. And of course now there is something that she does and she loves doing it. And I always look at her with a lot of envy because she retired very early and she's doing what she loves doing. And that's what I feel you also did. You entered into a space that really excites you.
Completely.
To wake up. So to retire, you don't have to be old, not useful to anyone anymore. To retire doesn't mean you stop working.
I think then it's just something that needs to go out there.
Yes.
Because if you look at even our HR policies, we say retirement is like a whole clause in
At
the contract,
age,
in
at
the
age 60 or 65.
or 65 or 55 as may be the case, and then you get your terminal dues. They even call terminal dues. I mean, this is
terminal.
it. It's terminal. Your life, you're no longer useful. So I think to then redefine it is actually very empowering. Yeah, because I'm in a space even now that I just love what I do.
Exactly.
Yeah, you know, because even after I went to the space of consulting, by the way, I stayed for a while, then the jobs again became routine because you're doing an org structure here, you're doing job evaluation. In fact, I remember doing a couple of job evaluations and I told Sam, if I hear one more job evaluation, I will scream. And I just said, so I trained the team and so on. And then I knew it was time for another transition. And that's when I got into coaching.
Yeah.
You know, because I said I must do something that is different because this now has become routine. And that's how I found myself getting certified as a coach and now training coaches, which again was another leap to something different. Yeah. So when you define it that way, then retirement actually stops now being a scary.
Not a fear. It's not
It's
a
not a
terminal
fear.
thing.
In fact, it's something to aspire to then to get into. Yeah. So I don't know how you get that thinking into the market and into the HR circles.
I mean, and when I listen to you, if you're going to constantly be enjoying what you're doing, do you see yourself ever stopping to work?
No. No.
So work is not something that we are meant to work. We are human beings. We are meant, once you stop working, you no longer justify your existence.
True. It's scriptural as well. If you don't work, you don't eat.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the big characters we know also in the Bible, no one really left working. Moses never left working
until he died.
So the person who retires us is really God.
That's true. That's true.
But that brings us to a very important thing. When you left formal employment and you started pursuing your mission, you started asking yourself some critical questions. Why am I here? Why do I exist? Why am I useful to humanity?
Yeah, I did actually, and I remember part of what made me transition into coaching was exactly that. Because yes, this consulting is exciting, and I must say, particularly for Centum, I mean, it was very, very fulfilling.
Yeah.
You know, just to see this thing that you've watched shape and grow, even outgrow you, so that was very fulfilling. But then after a while, it's a report. There are certain clients that are not as, what should I say? You're just doing these documents, but they're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So one of the things I kept asking myself, so what is the impact? For now, I may have done this fantastic org structure or whatever it is, but if that client then doesn't go and use it, then it is useless.
It's not useful.
It's not useful because then it doesn't give you the desired outcome. So I actually began to explore. I thought even going to the NGO world, you know, where you're dealing, you go dig a borehole, at least you can see directly how that has impacted people. But it's in the course of that searching then that the whole concept of coaching came in, and I decided, let me join the program, see how it works and so on. And it's perhaps one of the best decisions I have made in my life, because I have seen that become very useful at a personal level. I have seen it help my own children. One of the young men you worked with almost quit Alliance because he just felt he didn't quite fit his bill. And so I applied coaching. And there was a question I asked him one day, and he told me that was his turning point. Because he said, if the problem is in you, no matter where you go, it will follow. It's like a shadow. So you've got to figure out, is it the environment that is the problem, or is it your shadow? And he figured out it was his shadow. So he just learned to find a way of living with the shadow. So that, for me, I think it's something that would be fulfilling for a very long time. Because without fail, anybody I've done a coaching journey with, you can look back. And I mean, you're a coach, you would know.
We are both certified coaches.
We are certified coaches.
Yes.
So you look back and there is so much satisfaction just to see the impact and how somebody's life is. Yeah. So I am not retiring at this rate.
So retirement is not stopping to work and rocking the chair until God calls you home. Retirement is when you get to start doing what you love to do every single day of the year. So retirement is not something that should be far into the future, but should be as near as possible, so that you can use your prime years usefully to meet why am I here?
Exactly.
Why am I here? And I think that's why you see so many cases of, suicide, depression, because people haven't really answered the question, why am I here? And I'm useful. I help people. I touch people's lives. So, and also the other thing is, retirement is about getting to your mission.
That's true. That's true.
So it should be as quickly as possible, get there as quickly as possible. So it's not about stopping to work. I think that's the key,
Yeah.
the key thing that I get from you. So the people who are listening to me, don't be worried, don't be scared about retirement. Retirement is something that you need to be in charge of. You need to be driving towards as fast retirement as possible, so that you can get to do what you love to do every single day of the year. So retirement is nothing terminal. Retirement is actually about the future.
I think you need to do a piece on that one.
On this one,
Because
it's
really
really
a
deep.
mindset.
It's a mindset.
Is a mindset. And we start this race with retirement being the finish line.
The finish line.
Not the starting line.
So retirement is actually a starting line,
Completely,
not a finish line.
And it's got to be a moving goalpost as well. That's for it to be meaningful. So I have gotten there, so I've achieved what needed to be achieved there, so I push it to the next level.
You constantly are growing
Exactly.
into your mission.
Yes, until now God drags you to the other side.
To the other side, yes.
Because otherwise, the way we are now and the way we are nurtured, I think unless that, the minds need to be recalibrated. Yeah. Otherwise, we see it as the end game. Yeah.
It's interesting what you've just said, because just the other day, of course, we lost a giant in Dr. CK, Dr. Chris Kirubi. And the one thing that really touched me when I listened to all the tributes to him, and we had not enough time to listen to all the tributes, is that this man died empty. This man gave everything.
Yeah.
And I think that is why we are here. We give until your last day.
Completely, yeah.
He retired when he transitioned.
Exactly.
When he transitioned.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a break there. This is getting more and more interesting. So please stay tuned in see you on the next episode.